I talk about video a lot on this show as a way for experts to stand out in their industry. So, Atiba, I feel like we're kindred spirits.
Yes.
And I would love to hear how you came to the realization about the power of video for you and your business.
That's a really great question, Cheryl, and I appreciate you asking that question. And it's one of those things where, number one, I've been doing video since 2007. Okay. And so I wasn't unfamiliar with video from that sense, right? Matter of fact, I remember some of our first videos deciding not to put them on YouTube because it was too new of a platform.
How do you feel about that now? Hang on.
Right. Okay. 15 years or so later, you're kind of like, yeah, maybe we should have done that. But my background was in search and helping people rank their content in search, right? So that it can get found. We've been talking about being thought leaders and being authorities in your industry forever, right? And for a very, very long time, video seemed to be too hard. And in 2007, it was hard. Nobody had the equipment. I mean, today we've got these things that are way better video cameras than anything our predecessors ever had, right? And so I've always known that video was the way to connect with people, and that's the key. Video connects you with your customer better than any other form of medium, but it was just too hard to create. Well, about 2018, and definitely in the middle of the pandemic, life changed.
Yes.
Okay. Life changed, and it changed in a few different ways. So number one, in 2018, you started having platforms start to say, we're thinking about going video first. Then in the midst of the pandemic, you had a situation where people were home, they had time, and they had a choice. Do I read? Do I watch? And they chose to watch. And so then networks started to say, we want more video. And so for me, that was the catalytic moment of realizing between what we can do with these, the power that video has to connect with people, and all of these networks from organic Google all the way through TikTok and every network in between saying, we want more video. That's where we realized there's an opportunity here that's burgeoning, that's so great that we just gotta jump in and take advantage of.
Like I said, we are kindred spirits. So, but we just come to this realization from a different point. I was a news reporter. I was a TV news reporter, and I always felt that I was the gatekeeper. People had to go, this is a long time ago, people had to go through me and find me in the TV markets I was in to pitch their story to me. I had to pitch those stories to my producers. I had to find space in the show and time in the day to shoot these stories. And then it was shared with an audience. But right around 2017, maybe was that Blab, it was Twitter video, Twitter Live, Facebook Live. It just put the power of creating a platform in the hands of anyone who was willing to step up and take that. One of the things that I thought was so interesting about your story, and I did a little homework, of course, is your agency and how, and I want to talk about SEO in a little bit. I really want to dig into SEO, but that is where you started. So for me, it was news. For you, it was SEO.
Yep.
But came a point where you realized that maybe your business wasn't growing as fast as it could, and you needed to market yourself a little bit. And were you finding that you were not using video in the same way that maybe you were helping other people use video?
No, absolutely. The reality is we were the complete cobbler's kids, right? Where we helped a lot of people do a lot of great things in marketing and didn't do them for ourselves.
Yeah. I think a lot of people resonate with that, by the way. I have marketers who watch and listen to our program.
Yeah.
Experts, of course, and our company helps those experts. But if you're in marketing, you're in that weird space where you should be doing it and you should know the stuff, and you do know the stuff, but the doing is always hard. And we're doing it for our clients, but yeah.
Yeah. And it is, it's always difficult. Right. And so one of the things that as we had a major transition, 2020, 2021, in the company. And part of the transition was we were going to create a system for ourselves that actually worked. And then that's what we were going to sell. Right. And so it was, here's how to market yourself using video. It works. Now we'll do it for you. Right. To kind of solve that cobbler's kid scenario that we were existing in for over 10 years. Right. So yeah, completely.
So when we work with clients, which I'm sure you find, there's this hesitation. Is it going to work? It's a lot of time. It's a lot of money. Why even bother? And you have used it for yourself. The system of putting yourself out there and coming up with content ideas, which we're going to talk about because you are known as the content Superman. So I want to talk more about that. But does it work? Like, does this effort work?
Yes. Yes. And that's, I'll say this. We just had a new client sign on this week, and her email was, I don't see the future. I don't know how this is going to work. I believe that it will. I don't understand the steps, but I believe in you and I'm going to trust. And, I'm glad that she has that trust. But to your point, I think that's where a lot of people are, right? Because the old school of just writing a blog even and putting out there like, okay, I wrote it. I know what it says. Great. But there's so much that goes into video. And then will that thing work? And here's the deal. Here's the deal. And this is what I try to explain to clients. Here's why it always works. And I'm putting always in all caps right now, everybody. It always works because when you get on camera and you are your authentic self, you will connect with the heart of your prospect. You will absolutely, absolutely connect with their heart. And when you connect with their heart, you build something that is called trust. And people don't buy from people they don't trust. And you're going to build trust with them long before they ever pull out their credit card. So when they do, they'll be happy to do it. And then people can say, okay, I get that. But I put the video out there, and what if nobody ever watches it? Guess what? Even if you put the video out there, and you put it on every single social media channel, and you blast it everywhere, and nobody watches it, guess what? You can still send the video by email to people. Somebody calls you, you have a conversation, you collect their email address, send them the video. They'll watch it.
Yeah. I can't underscore that more. It is a way to create a relationship that you've put time and effort in, and it works when you're not there. It works when you're not thinking about your business. For example, when we booked this podcast interview, this show that we're on together, I was able to Google your name and find videos of you and get ideas of the things that you're going to talk about, which we're going to talk about in just a moment because it's good stuff.
Thank you.
But it's a way really to create that relationship. So I just wanted to talk more about that and how we as business owners, as marketers, as experts, which our clients are kind of in the same position, we struggle too. We struggle with coming up with content, with consistency, and we recognize that it takes work and that it does work when we put in the work.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go to your expertise, which one of them is video SEO.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, SEO is one of those words where I know what it means. Like I do know what it means. Words make sense, but it's like one of those like things that make me go, what in the world does that mean? Like, how do you really put that into something that makes sense? So like, let's start there and start with, please, your background and how you got started in SEO in the very beginning.
Sure. So let's take a little journey, everyone. No, seriously, we're going all the way back to 1996. So I started in search in 1996 when myself and two friends sat in my mother's basement and wrote a search engine. Now, yeah, that's what we did. We had a computer consulting firm because that's what was cool to have back then, was a computer consulting firm. And in 1996, that meant you did everything from lay LAN cable inside of people's ceilings.
No way.
Hardwire buildings. Yeah, I used to crawl in crawl spaces, all the way up to building this mythical thing that most people didn't even know what it was in 1996 called a website.
Wow.
Okay. And, you know, we were doing all of the services in between. I mean, we were building hardware and we were doing everything. And doing all of that stuff, we were always researching stuff. And we got good at researching on the internet that nobody knew existed. And we had all of these web pages and we had all of these bookmarks. And bookmarks today still suck. Like, it's not. And it was worse in 1996.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely worse. And we were in a place where we couldn't organize them. And we needed to organize them because we needed to find stuff. We needed to find stuff quickly. So we devised a search engine. Now, we didn't call it that, right? But that's what it was. And then we started selling the thing. So we actually sold it to clients.
That's great.
Between 96 and 98.
Okay.
We didn't realize what we had, and we kind of put it on the shelf. And then one day my mother said, hey, you ever heard of this company called Excite? They just sold to Yahoo for like $2 million. And we looked it up and we're like, holy crap, that's what we built. We never got any more money for ours, but that's fine.
Oh, no.
And so I've been in search ever since. In the early 2000s, I built search systems for the government. So we got out of laying cable, got very far out of laying cable, and started building systems for the INS, the IRS, the DLA, the Army, lots of major government systems. We built search systems for them.
Wow.
Then about 2005-ish, I left government because, well, I had enough of government. You're from the DC area, you understand.
Yes. You wanted a little more control. You wanted control.
Yes. And we went back into the private sector. And in the private sector at that time, there was something major that was going on. And what was happening was Google had a big problem in 2005, 2006. And that was there was a bunch of spam websites that were populating at the top of Google search because smart marketers had figured out how to beat the Google algorithm to get their web pages at the top.
Okay.
Let's pause and put a pin in and you'll understand part of why I'm telling you the story. That the purpose of Google is to share valuable information with a searcher. That's what they want. When you search, they want to give you something that's valuable and useful to you. If they don't, they fail. You go somewhere else looking for it.
Very true. Very true. Mm-hmm.
So with spammers at the top, Google was failing and they needed to solve that problem. Well, we saw the problem and said, well, and again, being geeks and knowing search engines from the inside out, we understood what the problem was. And we said, well, so they're probably going to do X, Y, and Z, which is exactly what they did. In terms of some of the changes that they made over the next few years, which I'm not going to bore you with all of those technicalities. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. People ask about SEO, and it is one of those, either it goes over your head or it makes you scratch your head moments. Okay? Let me break it down in this way as I tell this story, that SEO is all about traffic. What you're looking for is traffic to your property, whether it's your website, your YouTube page, whatever it is. You're looking for traffic. In order to master traffic, and this is what we figured out back in 2000, really it was by 2007 we figured this out. What we figured out was in order to master traffic, you needed to be obsessed with your audience, create a solid content strategy, and then consider this thing called SEO.
Mm.
Because without the first two, the third one doesn't actually work.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I love what you said there, because it really puts the burden of doing good work, of really providing valuable stuff on the person who's creating the video.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
create good stuff and people will find it, is kind of
Yeah.
what you're saying. And then you can kind of add fuel to the fire with some SEO magic. And maybe you don't call it magic, but SEO.
No, we do. It's magic.
It's magic. But I really love that, because there are so many people who know their things, who are so valuable to their client base, that if they have an understanding, that if they think a little bit about how to present that information a little bit better, then there really is, the sky is the limit for them. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the key, right? That's the absolute key, is realizing that you are an expert. And I get it. I get it. You're listening to us right now and you're saying, oh, I'm saying this stuff. But I need you to understand that I know, and Cheryl knows, we both know this about you. We know that you got into business because there was a problem in the world that you saw that you had a unique way to solve. And in your time of being in business thus far, you have proven that you can solve that problem in your unique way. That makes you an expert.
Let's talk about your content path.
Yeah.
You are known as the content Superman.
Yep.
And I really love the simple way that you get people started to create content where they already know their stuff. They're not learning it on the fly. They're not Googling it to get information. They've built up an expertise over 10, 20, 30 years in whatever it is they do. So please, if you wouldn't mind, just walk us through how to just get started with that content part of it, to get really good stuff.
Absolutely. And this is so simple that you're going to say, that's it. And I'm going to say, yup. Okay. Because it marries everything all together. Okay. Number one, people go to Google, and they go to Google because they have a question. There's something they need to know. They're looking for an answer. That answer is stored in your head. Okay. It's stored in your head. So how do we make this all work? Simple. Answer the question. People are asking questions, and you know this. You know this. Your customers ask questions. Okay. And when we answer those questions and we use those questions as the base of our content strategy, what we've done is we've created a world where we know that every piece of content we've created is absolutely valuable. Absolutely, absolutely valuable. And that's the crux of it all. Now, can we get much more technical than that? Yes. But focus on answering questions that people are actually asking you. See, this is, and I want to be clear here, because there's so many times where someone asks a question, and we have clients who say this, well, they asked this, but what they really meant was this. No, that's not what they asked. Don't change the question. Yeah. Answer what they asked. Now, in that, you're going to give them what they asked for, and then also tell them what they need. But don't just tell them this is what you need and ignore what it was that they asked for. Okay, so that's the crux of creating a content strategy. From there, we take the questions and we start to put them in pillars. And we start to say, okay, what are the 3 to 5 pillars that you talk about based on your expertise, and line the questions up. Okay. That's the basis. Now I can go further if you like, but that's the basis.
So people always feel like it is more complicated than that, but it really isn't. So would you mind going through an example? So like, for example,
Absolutely.
for you, if you were to do this from, well, and I'm sure you've already done it, so you already have these questions answered, but when you first started for yourself, you said self. What questions do people ask me? What did you do to then create maybe your first 5 pieces of content?
Yeah. So it's a really great question. And we actually have a free resource that helps you do this too.
Oh, perfect.
That we give away. So you guys can have that too. And here's the secret. Y'all ready? I'm going to tell you the secret. It's in the free resource, but I want you to come close because I'm going to tell you the secret. Here's the secret. You're going to go to Google. Yeah, go to Google. And you're going to type in 2 to 3 words that describe you, like your company, your business, or your product. Just type those 2 to 3 words in.
Okay.
After you type those 2 to 3 words in, I want you to press a key on your keyboard that says enter. Press that enter key. Once you do that, Google is going to come back with a bunch of results. Now, when it comes back with those results, at the top, there may be some sponsored listings. Skip those. Then, depending on what you put in, you may see some video. Don't look at those. You may see some maps or other listings. Don't look at those. You want to scroll down a little bit. Okay. Usually about a third of the way down, there's a section that Google has that it's called People Also Asked. People Also Asked. Now, what this section is Google saying to you, people who typed in the words that you typed into this search want to know the answers to these questions. And there, Google's going to give you 3 to 5 questions that people have also asked. That's where you start to find your first pieces of content to create. Right
so
there.
You take those questions. So like, for example, maybe you put video content strategy as the words, for example. People also ask, and I'm going to do this once we finish, that let's say they ask, what is a video content strategy? Then you take that and you answer that in a video.
Yeah.
Answer that question. Just whatever you believe the answer to be. And that's it.
Yes.
Okay.
And now here's what you've done. Here's what you've done when you've done this. You've answered a specific question that a real person is asking. Because Google didn't make that up. What Google is showing you is what real people typed into Google. Now, I do want to give you a caveat, which isn't, we talk about in the free resource, which is there's a beautiful word, and the word is intent. Okay. This is a word that's at the crux of everything that we do within content strategy as well. We talk about intent. Intent is, why did they search? Okay. Why did they search? So if we do video content strategy, let's say, as our term, and we put in and we get back, what is a video content strategy? Well, what's the intent behind that search? Well, someone is trying to learn what a video content strategy is. And then we can ask, okay, so who's trying to learn that? Well, that could be my ideal customer. Okay, good. So that's a good question to answer, right? Now, let's say another question that came up is, what's a good video content strategy for a school? But you don't serve schools. It's a bad question for you to answer.
Right. Because
the intent behind that question is not one that matches who you are and who your brand is. So don't answer it. It's okay.
Yeah. Find one that matches the results you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I think the best use of our time is to really pick your brain about how SEO has changed over the years to help us create better video content.
Well,
I know
that's
you're well versed in this. You're so well versed in this.
it's a beautiful question. And this is why I am a huge champion right now of video SEO, because here's the deal. The exact opposite is true. It's how SEO has not changed over the years to help us with video. Video SEO is like a tortoise in terms of movement. Now, Google, in terms of regular written content SEO, regular web pages, they make updates like 22 per day. On the video side, they only make a couple hundred per year.
Wait, what does that mean?
In other words, so break that very geeky statement down for you. In other words, video SEO doesn't change very much. And so if you figure out, which is what we do for our clients, if you figure out the formula of how to rank your particular videos on page 1 of Google, it's just going to work and keep working. Now, I'm going to give you a formula. Y'all ready for a formula?
I definitely want this. So wait, what you're saying is that if I Google what is a video content strategy, and that happens to be the video I make, typically I would get blog posts. But if you do this, then the video that I make would actually show up on that first page too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Here's a caveat.
Okay.
And then remember when I said in about 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, stuff started to change. Here's one of the major changes that happened. From 2020 through now, Google has gone through and reclassified 60% of its database as wanting video first content.
Really?
Aha.
Whoa. So,
aha.
Okay.
Aha.
So that means that those who have videos already, they have more of an opportunity to do things to their video to be seen on that first page. All right, video creators, listen up. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Now, but this is why there's still a huge opportunity. I'm going to take this quick caveat here because I want everyone to hear this. This is why this is still a huge opportunity. Okay. Because according to YouTube, 91% of small business owners do not have a YouTube channel.
Really?
So that means
today, 91%?
It's a 2022 stat.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And
okay.
so that means, number one, if you do, you're in the minority. And that also means if you don't and you start now, you're in the minority. And it also means that Google classified 60% of its database. And when it did, it knew it did not have the inventory to fulfill that.
Oh,
so it's looking for people to fulfill that. Guess who that is? You.
Yeah. And you, Atiba. And
well,
you.
well, yes. All of us listening in this, right? Yeah. So here's how you master SEO for video. Yeah. The simple form. Y'all ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. There is more to it, but I'm going to give you the really simple basics, right? Number one, when you do that research and you figure out the question that you're going to answer, the title of your video is the question exactly as it was written in Google. Do not change it. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, in the first 2 sentences of the description for your video that you're posting on YouTube, and yes, post it on YouTube, okay? In the first 2 sentences, repeat the question. Number 3, write a description that talks about what you talk about in the video. There are tons of people who will tell you that your YouTube description should make someone want to watch your video. Please let me know when you read a YouTube description before you watched the video. I've yet to meet anyone who does that.
No. The whole point of the video, right? So you don't have to read.
The whole point of video, right? So in your description, talk about what you're going to talk about in the video. Put it all in there because all of that gets indexed and Google uses that to figure out the context of your video to help you rank.
So you're not saying a transcript, you're saying a summary, or would you suggest a transcript?
A summary.
Okay.
A summary.
Okay.
You don't need a transcript, you need a summary. But you do need a transcript. And so, but we'll talk about that. Okay, so that was 3. Number 4, and this is one that so many people miss. Repeat the question in the video multiple times.
Oh, multiple. Okay.
Yes. I can't tell you how many people miss that.
I've never heard that before, Atiba. Like, and I've been, I have a YouTube channel. I've never heard that either. I've never.
Now, here's why, and this is number 5. Here's why. Because when you post that video, you're then going to also post a transcript. And when you post a transcript, the transcript is going to have the question multiple times in it, which then as Google reads your transcript, reads your description, sees, oh, this is what we're all talking about. And oh, by the way, that's also the title. You're giving it all the clues in the world to know, this is what I'm talking about.
Wait, where are you posting the transcript?
So you post a transcript on YouTube.
Not in the description.
Not in the description. So when you upload the video into YouTube, okay, then you can also add a transcript. You can also add it later. It doesn't have to be the moment that you upload it.
Okay.
Okay. Do not do, and people do this, this will hurt you. Do not do the auto transcribe or the auto captions in YouTube. Do not do that. Okay. Oh, why? But it's so much easier. It's just a button click and it does it. Yes. And it's also, depending on your accent, at best, 70% accurate.
Wow.
So you don't know which 30 words it's going to, or 30% it's going to be inaccurate on. And those could be the most important 30 words in your video, or 30% in your video. Okay.
That was so valuable. That was so valuable for anyone who is really trying to take that video that they've worked so hard to upload to YouTube to make that something that Google pays attention to. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And if anybody wants it, and I hope this is okay,
yes.
Cheryl, but we also we've published, this is not free, but we have published all of our SOPs on how we do this.
Okay.
I think it's 22 of them. Okay.
I'll put links in the description and then put that in the show notes as well. But go ahead, feel free to share what that link is. Is there a link to your website?
Yeah. So excuse me, sorry. Yeah, so there is a link to the website. I can get you that link because I am horrible at remembering links. But I will get that for you. But yeah, so you can get that, and it has all of our SOPs of how we actually do this for our clients.
Okay, perfect. One of the things I also wanted to talk about is, as I'm looking at my channel and the feed and the algorithm and what is shown to me when I'm just on YouTube too much. So I'm just going to say that right now, is the shorts, the shorter videos, which I'll say I have a couple of shorts up. I've done a little bit of TikTok. I've done a couple of reels. I'm not really invested in them. I really work mostly with clients to help them create YouTube style videos.
Long form videos. Yeah.
More longer form, more, as we talked about, more that showcase their expertise, but lets them have some breathing room with time on camera. What is your take on short form video, and how can we as experts help our clients utilize it better?
So I have a little bit of an opinion on this. I 3 weeks ago keynoted Affiliate Meet Market in Berlin, talking about short form video. Okay. Also presented at Traffic and Conversion Summit talking about short form video. So
you know a little bit about it?
I have a little bit of an opinion on this.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
YouTube is very invested in short form video right now. And the reason being, and I'm going to go to the end and come back and answer the question for you. Okay. The reason being because as adults, unfortunately, our attention spans are shrinking.
Yes.
Okay. So that's number one. Number two, TikTok has done some amazing things with the younger generation and short form video, and really started to show the power of short form video. And Google never likes to be upstaged. Call it what it is. Okay. And so they're throwing, they threw $200 million into shorts this year And I think they have another $300 million for 2023 that they're throwing into shorts, to giving to creators to create more shorts, because they're starting to monetize shorts.
Wow, really?
So are they invested in it? Absolutely. Absolutely. And why are they invested in it? They're invested in, if you look at what YouTube is doing, is they're making it that you can take your long form video and create shorts from your long form video. And so people watch the short as the teaser and then go watch your long form video. Okay. And so it increases the thing that they care about. Remember when we talked about Google earlier and Google search, we said, what does Google care about? They care about putting relevant results at the top of Google search. What does YouTube care about? YouTube cares about the length of time someone spends on the platform, right? And so shorts, even though it sounds counterintuitive, actually is increasing the length of time that people are spending on the YouTube platform. Now, that's all the fancy, wonderful reasons why you should be invested in short form video on either platform, TikTok or YouTube. But I'm an SEO guy. And they didn't fly me to Germany to tell you that. They didn't have me out in California to tell you that. Here's what they had me out there to tell you, because that's all the background. Google is now ranking YouTube Shorts on page 1.
Really?
Yes. And so the case study that I presented in both places, from 2 of our clients, I have one client, we created 18 shorts for him. 18, get this, 18 shorts. 14 of them ended up on page 1. You tell me, what content strategy do you have that you can create content where 77% of the content ends up on page 1? That's and incredible. By the way, it did it in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Okay. I was in Austin recently. 2 weeks ago, I was in Austin, and I was in line for lunch, and a guy comes up to me and he said, I heard a piece of advice that you gave on a call last week about video. And by the way, the advice that I gave him was the same one that I just gave you. Go type in your term, find the question, right? And he said, I went and I created a short and put it up on YouTube on Monday. And then on Tuesday, it was number 4 in Google search.
Oh my goodness. And lots of views. The
key here isn't lots of views. The key here is, and let's go back to that word that I said earlier, intent. Intent. Somebody who is searching for that question has intent to consume your information. What would you prefer? 100 views where 8 people actually wanted to consume, or 10 views where 8 people wanted to consume?
Right.
And that's what we're going for. We're going for high intent views. Views from people that they're viewing because they care about what you're talking about, not just because you had a pretty face today, right? Or they were bored today, right? But they were actually looking for you. That's the beauty of this strategy.
So let's talk more about how to make it something that a business owner, someone who gets local business, in-person business within their own communities. They are financial advisors, they're construction companies, they're accountants. Are they dancing? Are they shooting shorts in 15-second chunks? How are they making this happen?
It's a great question. That's a superb question. And so here's one of the things that we do for our clients as well. If you already have long form video, we actually reverse engineer the SEO on your long form video to figure out the questions that people would have asked for you, that you answered in those long form videos, and then create shorts from your long form videos to answer those questions.
That's genius.
That's what we did for that client that I told you. 77% of his stuff ended up on page one. That's what we did.
Yeah.
He had videos that were 3 years old. We took 3-year-old videos, and this is what we did with them.
And so you title them, and it
Yep.
shows up on that
Yep.
first page, and he hasn't necessarily created new content for that result.
No, he never got back in front of the camera. Now, here's what I want to share with you there. So he had 18 videos, right? Those 18 videos, they came from 3 original videos that we started with.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 videos each had on average 30 views each, just on YouTube. We did and created those 18 shorts from those 3 videos. They ended up on page one, 77% of them. Combined in 2 weeks, they had 2,100 views. But now those are not just 2,100 views. Those are 2,100 intent-based views.
Right. People who were more invested in what he had to say. I like to think of video as the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
I really do. But what you're saying is using your strategy, a 4 or 5-year-old video, a video you made last week where you thought, oh, that only got a few views. It didn't do anything for me, can truly be repurposed.
Yes.
And sent out into the world in a way that can really create some strong results. That's really powerful. Really powerful.
And we don't like the word repurposed. Here's why.
Okay.
No, and no offense to anyone,
No.
but it's been, and I'm gonna just say it bluntly, it's been bastardized. Right. And people think, oh, I got this video, I just wanted to be repurposed. And there are even companies that will do this. And you send them off your video and they chop up what they think sounds good and send it back to you. And that doesn't answer people's questions. That doesn't actually do the job. Right. So we actually term it as splintering. So we take your video and we splinter your video into another form that answers people's questions based on the SEO research.
I think you just said it, though. It really takes a content marketer. It takes someone to really think about the question and the ensuing answer and how it works together to create the result for the client. So kudos to you. That's really fabulous.
Well, thank you. But it goes all the way back to where we started when I said, the thing that we care about is traffic. Mm-hmm. And there are 3 components to traffic. Obsessed with your audience. When you get obsessed with your audience, you understand the questions that they're asking, which then informs your content strategy. We're taking your long form video because we were obsessed and we got the questions, and now we're figuring out how to answer those questions from your long form videos. And that then breeds right into the SEO. And that gets traffic.
Yes. So if you have clients who say, okay, I get Cheryl, Atiba. Yeah, I get the video. Got it. I understand video. I understand I need to do it. I'm all on board. But then there's like another hurdle of the TikTok. Maybe they're not on TikTok as a platform that they watch themselves. Like they're not on that. They're not watching Instagram Reels. Yeah, they're just not, they're not in that space. Like I will say I have a TikTok account. And the videos I watch are like decorating videos. So they're not even, I mean, I don't have any expert videos on there. It's like more like I'm looking for things to help my house. Right. Do they do that then? Do they make the effort to use TikTok and these short form videos?
So this is it's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
It's a really, 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 really interesting question. And there are a few different angles at looking at the answer to this question. Okay. Yeah. Number one, there are a lot of people who say their audience isn't on TikTok right now. Mm-hmm. And most of those people are marketing to people like me and you. But what did you just say? You're on TikTok.
I mean, yeah, because I get some good decorating ideas.
So the thing is, TikTok hasn't become a place yet for you to go to consume information about certain topics, but it is a place where you are consuming information.
Yeah.
That's number one. Okay. So it's only a matter of time before your ideal customer is there looking for you. So now is the time when the rest of your competition isn't there to create that foothold and that expertise within the platform. That's one. Two, and this is one that the jury is still very, very, very much out on. Okay. So I'm just being honest with everybody about this. Can you create videos like you do for a YouTube short or like you do for YouTube itself and post that on TikTok and it will do well? I can tell you, we tried that with mine. It failed. Okay. But then you'll have Gary V who says, but I do it and it works. But you're Gary V. Yeah. Okay. Then you have the people who will tell you, you've got to create for the youth and let the algorithm like you for them and then do your own thing. I don't know if that's true either. Right. Okay. Because we've seen mixed results with that. So what to create is a big still ball of nebulousness right now. Okay. But then there's a reason why you need to deal with those first two. And this is what we're actually working on right now. So my research team, this is what they're working on right now. And I alluded to this a little bit in the beginning as well, when I said everybody's going to video. Well, not only is everybody going to video, but TikTok in 2022, really the end of 21 into early 2022, decided we no longer want to be an entertainment platform. We want to become a search engine. Yeah. They decided they wanted to go head to head with Google. They figure they've got the eyeballs and the trust of the younger generation. And if they can keep those, they will transition into a powerhouse over the next set of years. Google, on the flip side, it says, ha ha. Okay. Ha ha, go for it. We've been doing it way longer. We can do it way better. And by the way, all of your information is public domain. So we are currently working on this and we'll have an answer by February. Okay, I'm committing everyone. I actually have a show that I'm going to be on to present our results in February for this.
Wonderful.
Okay. What we've figured out is how to rank a YouTube video on page one of Google. We figured out how to rank a YouTube short on page one of Google and do it consistently. By February of 2023, we would have also figured out how to rank a TikTok video on page one of Google. Now you're like, oh, no, you can't do that. But guess what? 8 weeks ago, Google decided to start indexing all of TikTok.
Really? That's huge, isn't it?
Now, I thought that's wonderful. That's cool. And it was terms at first like TikTok SEO. And okay, sure. I put in TikTok SEO and a TikTok video came up. Fine. I can buy that. Right. Until last week, a guy called me. We had a meeting from my trip to Germany. And he said he's running an e-commerce store. And he said, I want to know if you can help me because I like what you're saying. I want to know if you can help me. And our number one selling product that we want to create video for is the Swarovski Advent Calendar. Now, I don't even know what that is. Okay. And so he says these three words to me. And I'm like, I don't know. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to stick those three words into
Google it. Yeah.
I stuck the three words into Google and up came ads. After the ads was an organic listing. After the organic listing, actually with 2 or 3 organic listings, then was a YouTube video and then a TikTok video.
Wow.
TikTok wasn't in the search term.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's a game changer if you're really, yes, which you know.
So think about that for a moment. Think about traditional SEO of ranking your website on page one. Then you can rank a YouTube video and a YouTube short on the same topic. So all these on the same topic on page one. Then create a TikTok video and rank that on page one. my friends, that's called page one dominance.
Mhm. Yeah.
We have that opportunity with video, with YouTube and TikTok. And it's one of those things where this war is going to happen and somebody's going to win. And over the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to have a major opportunity to really dominate SERPs, okay, being at the top of the search engine.
Yeah.
Because of the war between Google and TikTok. That's the main reason why you've got to figure out TikTok right now.
So I appreciate your time. This is so, so valuable. It
You're welcome.
really is.
My
And
pleasure.
I know people are, if they're in the video space, are probably going to rewind. And do people even rewind anything? They just go back and listen to some of the things that you've talked about. And you mentioned it just a little bit ago. We're heading into another turbulent economic time.
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking to a business owner the other day about how she is doubling down on marketing because
Yes.
she grew her business in the last recession when she did that. And as scary as it is now, it's always scary. I'm not sure when it isn't. What is your take on your marketing as we're heading into a really uncertain time? Like, it's always uncertain, but it really feels more uncertain. What is your take on this marketing double down, if you will?
Absolutely. It's a great question. And, you know, that business owner that you mentioned is one of the smartest people in the world.
She's brilliant. She's brilliant.
Because it's counterintuitive,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it correct. You know, the thing that you learn is money is made in a recession. Real people with real wealth make money in a recession. While everyone else is clamming, the real people who understand business make money in a recession. And the only way you're going to make more money in a recession is with marketing. You've got to bring in more business. And so that's where we are. We are setting everything up. You know, we have a major done for you service. It's major. We do everything for you. Literally, the only thing we don't do for you is get on camera, but even that we help you with. Right? We do everything for you. But I also understand that come the recession, fewer people are going to do the done for you service. Fewer people are going to drop those dollars for the done for you service. And they're going to say, well, I want to do some of it for myself or to save a couple of dollars. May not be the right option. And so we're building out, which is why I could say to you earlier, hey, we've got our SOPs. We're building out our entire library of done do it yourself and done with you products and services, so that if that's where you are in the recession, you can still buy from us, work with us to advance your business. Because that's my job. My job is to help you advance your business with video. Realize the power of video and help you get there. That's it. Yeah. Right? And I can't do that if I clam up in the middle of a recession. No, we've got to go.
Yeah. Scary, right? I mean, it's not that it's not a little nerve-wracking, but I was wondering. Well, yeah.
You know, and I'm going to go a little bit off topic here, if that's okay.
Sure.
And give you a piece of advice, everyone who's listening, because you're looking at the reality of an impending recession and saying, but I don't know. And how am I going to double down when, you know, my coffers are smaller? Well, your coffers are smaller because you didn't prepare for the recession. Now, in life, everything goes in seasons, period. So the recession is always going to be coming. So even if they're wrong, even if all the prognosticators right now are wrong and the recession doesn't come right now, guess what? It's still going to come. It's coming. And it's time for you to prepare for the fact that it's coming. How do you do that? There's a great book by Mike Michalowicz. I hope I said his last name right. Profit First. If you aren't figuring out, if you're not taking profit first out of your business before you pay your expenses, then you're not going to be prepared for the recession. It's a commonality that I've seen with people who have been prepared for recessions in the past. They have coffers, and how did they get them? They took the profit first to fill those coffers. So when the recession came, they've got cash reserves. And that's how they survive, and that's how they thrive.
On that note, I wanted to ask you if you wanted to share anything about how people can reach you, and I'll put links that you share with me in our show notes and in descriptions. So just how can people learn more about you and the things that you offer?
Absolutely. So I get it. We talked about a lot of stuff today in the last
We
45,
did.
50 minutes or so. And some of it might be new and a lot of it might be confusing. I get it. And you're going to have questions. I understand that too. And so what I want you to do is go to Meet Atiba. That's my name, ATIBA.com. Meetatiba.com. What that's going to do is that's going to take you directly to my LinkedIn. When you get to my LinkedIn, hit the connect button, connect with me, and then send me a message. Let's start a conversation. I want to answer your questions. Because I know you got them. Let's have a real conversation.
I love it. And it starts with video, right? If somebody has seen this video or heard you on the podcast, it's that relationship that you're building through that conversation that you will then have potentially on LinkedIn. I love that. Any last words, any last takeaways you'd like to share with anyone who's joining us today about maybe a takeaway that they should take and do? Any last words?
Absolutely. Video seems hard. Video seems like a tall mountain to climb. However, with the right guide, it isn't. It absolutely, absolutely isn't. And when you have people like Cheryl and I in your life, you'll start to realize that it really, really isn't. And there are lots of fears and challenges that you have right now that aren't actually real. And we can show you why they're not real. We can, but we can't help you unless you reach out and touch. Reach out, get in touch with us, ask your questions. Let us help you take this journey, because you're at the precipice moment of video right now where you can truly dominate your industry and become the expert in your industry right now. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much today. But if you wait, if you keep waiting, the longer you wait is the harder and more expensive it's going to get for you. So start now. Start right now.
Atiba, this has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.